Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 24 of Perfect Inspiration. My name is Brian Matiash. So, I was really excited for this episode. I remembered standing on this sand dune. I knew exactly what I was going to do for this episode, having to do with theater of the mind, because what's funny is if you were to turn around right from where I was standing, you'd see a huge grocery store, a Fred Meyer grocery store in Florence, Oregon, near the coast. And it was really important that I wanted to kind of bring you to far away from that. And you can see here, just to show you in Google Maps, here is Florence, Oregon. There's the Pacific Ocean. And then you can, if I zoom in, there is the Fred Meyer grocery store. And then here's that sand dune that just kind of abuts the parking lot. So my colleague Dan and I, we drove here. We parked right there in that spot and walked right in here and up. And the shot I took was somewhere over here. And you can see how if you turn around, there is the grocery store. But because, playing games with theater of the mind or, adjusting the position of your camera so that you remove a bunch of distractions really can be a lot of fun. And so all I did here was I splayed my tripod out and then I tilted my camera downward, more or less so that this dune can hit the top right corner of the frame. But you can see how I have such a little sky and the frame is filled with all of these ridges. And that was really important for me. Also what was important was having this layering, this hill up here and it slopes down and you see some of the sand behind it. That was really important for me because it does make you feel like you're in some desert, like in the Sahara or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, for the very first time ever on Perfect Inspiration, I'm going to actually send this to our newest product for the upcoming Perfect Photo Suite 7. And it's called Perfect Black and White. And one of the new functions that we have with Suite 7, especially for Lightroom users, is now instead of having to go to the File plugin menu, I can just right-click, go to Edit In, and send it straight to Perfect Black and White, which we're going to do right now. Okay, so welcome to Perfect Black and White. Now, one quick note. This is a pre-release build. We're still in the process of finalizing everything. So what you see here might differ when you get your build when we release Suite 7. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to apply this effect here called Bogart. And what it'll do is it'll give me a starting point for the image. It's really going to kind of set the tone for me. And you can see I really love what it does here by really evoking a lot of moodiness. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring the white point up, though, because I really want to bring that up. I want to make it really nice and bright. And then I'm also going to take the sky here, and I'm going to use our brightness brush. And what that brightness brush is going to allow me to do is essentially blow out any detail there. I'm going to bring the amount up to 100 in the tool options bar. I'm going to turn off the perfect brush for now. I'm going to paint out here. And you can see how we're getting all that detail. Now, as I get closer to the horizon, what I actually want to do is make sure that I don't brighten that. So that's where the perfect brush comes in. The perfect brush has edge detection technology that we built specifically for the suite. And so you can see here how even though the brush is getting over the horizon, it detects that edge. And so I can feel confident that I'm not actually brightening that part of the scene, which is really important. And that's going to come in really huge when we do masking and other products like Perfect Effects. All right, so with that done, I'm going to switch over to the detail brush. The detail brush will be used to bring texture out in the scene. I'm going to turn the perfect brush off. Let's bring the brush size up, and let's bring the strength of that up. And what I'm going to do here is just really quickly just add detail to the sand. I want that sand to really pop, especially in the foreground. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring the white point up just a bit more. And then I'm also going to bring up the contrast, because I love black and white images that have a lot of contrast. All right, so with that, I'm pretty good. I'm also going to go ahead. You see we have these color response options. I'm going to select the infrared option. And what that does is it really brings the whites out. I mean, I love what it's doing over there. And I do want to lose all that information altogether. So now that I'm done, I'm going to hit apply and we're going to return right back to Lightroom, fully round tripped. All right, so here we are in Lightroom. I'm not going to do too much to this image. The first thing that I want to do is I'm actually going to change the temperature. I could have done this in perfect black and white, but I decided to do it in Lightroom. And all I need to do is go to the temperature slider, and I'm going to warm it up just a tiny bit, just to kind of bring out the warmth of the sand. Now I'm going to take the adjustment brush, and I'm going to create a new brush that will have highlights. I'm going to bring up a highlights and a little bit of exposure. And that I'm going to use to paint in on especially for the ridge. Now you can see how it's a bit too strong, and that's fine. This just lets me know I can see exactly where I'm drawing. Once I'm done though, I'm going to bring the highlights back down. I'm going to bring that exposure down a bit. But you can see that it does a really nice job of bringing out the ridges, and that's really important for me. The last thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to close the adjustment brush. I'm going to bring up some contrast, a little bit of clarity, and then I'm going to go down to the vignette here, and I'm going to add just a little bit of a vignette. And I'm going to bring it closer to the center. So this is a very dark image, but for me it's very important. That's what I wanted. I was going for a very moody shot for the desert, and I think that little bit of a warm temperature boost further adds to that. And again, it's all about theater of the mind here. You never would have expected that if you stood up and turned around, there would be a grocery store right behind you. And that's something that you really should take with you when you're going out and exploring and shooting, even if it's an ordinary scene or if there are distractions around you. Just play around, do some tricks with your camera with how you position it, and I'm sure that you can find some really awesome results to have fun with your own theater of the mind. So with that, I want to thank you. And here's an important note. I saved the preset from Perfect Black and White that I used for this shot, and you can download it, but you won't be able to use the preset file until Perfect Black and White is released. So feel free to download it and keep it and then import it when we release it, or you can come back and download it then. But if you try to import it now, it won't import into anything. So with that, I want to thank you. I hope you enjoyed our first look at Perfect Black and White, and I look forward to seeing you next week for episode number 25. Thank you very much.